if you notice when you walk around your neighborhood or you drive in the areas you drive, there's always a few homes you see that are like, wow. Okay, now this is legally considered a home. This is legally considered a house. Would anybody want to live there, yes or no? Okay. There's a reason people allow a home to turn to this condition. Number one, it's an investment and they don't care. And they've owned it for decades, they just don't care. It's one of the few places in the world where we live where you can neglect or abuse a property, and what has the value done? Gone up. We saw a property way out in Riverside a couple years ago, Gene and I. It looked like it was collapsing, literally like it was going to collapse on the tenant. It was so dangerous, and it was still worth almost $300,000, and nobody could fix it. It's a scrape off, because to fix it was just, you're just buying it for the big lot. The other option is the owner bought it a long time ago, and financially they have no resources, so they're just hanging on in Orange County, trying to live on $1,500 a month, $1,800 a month, and they have no resources whatsoever. Here's what people will say: why doesn't somebody like this sell this property? Because they don't have the financial means to live here anymore if they sell this. So they're just hanging on until they're moved to a retirement home. They end it as a rental, 1031 it to another investment, or the people that originally bought it pass away and the next set of families sell it off. Does that make sense? Why would you mail this person a letter saying you have the resources to either help them fix it up and sell it, or two, you can buy it the way it sits? Why would you do that, Perry?
Well, if you don't do it, somebody else will.
Okay. Could it possibly create your own lead?
Yes.
Okay. The advantage of an expired, as we all know, or a FSBO, we know they've raised their hand and said we want to sell. Not every real estate agent or investor will take the time to knock on the door or write them a letter. Gene and I found a couple homes that are in extreme distress. We're writing those people letters, showing them what we did before and after. And if you notice when you walk around your neighborhood or you drive in the areas you drive, there's always a few homes you see that are like, wow, that's in severe condition. When Gene and I went to over 200 doors of people that own fourplexes, apartments, etc., I told Gene, you're going to be stunned in the condition of their homes. And at first he's like, what are you talking about? I said, the reason their fourplexes look like this, they're taking every penny they can to live on it. So their home will be in probably worse condition. There were some homes we went up to that were just, you're just like, how can anyone live in that? They're just holding on as long as they can. Now, let's look at key indicators. When you pull up, would you agree with me? One of the indicators is the quality of the driveway. The house Gene and I just bought, the driveway is so bad, we cannot fix it. It's actually better to scrape it and put a new driveway in. So when you see that, look at the quality of the driveway. It's literally collapsing upon itself. Can you fix that, or is it better to replace that? The garage door, you can see they had to replace, because probably the other one in this neighborhood, there's garage doors that are so broken, they can't even open their own garage door. So whatever's inside has probably been in there for 10, 20, 30 years, and they haven't touched it because they won't even have the ability to open their own door. So that's another indicator. Another indicator is the quality of the stucco and the trim. What would you say the quality of the trim on this house is? I would say it's in severe condition. When you redo this roof, all the trim has to be replaced.
Termites,
rodents, you got everything, ants, everything you got. Another indicator to look at is the quality of the landscaping. As you can see, he takes care of it every week. Yeah.
Every year, he waters it.
The quality of the window. And some homes that are in extreme condition will have new windows. Why is that? There's programs where you can put windows in, air conditioners in. Here's the scary part. People don't know the true cost because it's put on their tax bill or put a lien against the property. I had a client do it. We had to have an attorney involved. For about $18,000 of work, they wanted over $60,000. They make it sound easy. Oh, no, you don't pay for it. We just put it on your bill. And people think, oh, okay, I don't have the money. I'll just, and then all of a sudden you're hit with these massive expenses. Wow. So we had to get an attorney involved, and it was still too much, but we knocked it down by over 50%. Is that a huge savings for the seller?
Yes.
Took a lot of time too. Obviously the condition of the roof, does anybody know what kind of roof that is? Yeah, it's that rock, it's the rock roof. So that aesthetically, when these type of homes were originally built, it actually looked really neat with the rock and the way the homes looked on the A-frames. The sad part is between wind, bird strikes, storms, wear, Rock roofs wear very badly very quickly. So if you need to repair this whole area, what do you got to do with the rock? Scrape the whole thing. So you'll see a lot of people when they go to fix these kind of roofs will just do what? Just remove the whole thing. It's not worth repairing because you're just spending too much time and money trying to patch it. You will find on roofs like this, 10 or 20 buckets of Henrys. These people just pour it on. And they'll just be like, because they don't want to spend the money, so they're just buying buckets of Henrys and just pouring it all over the roof. Yeah, it's more tar than any material. It's really amazing. We scraped the house and the roofer had to charge us more money. Should have seen all the tar coming off. Hundreds of pounds of just patching material. Go to the tree. Here's the scary part that a lot of you didn't recognize. What is that leaning against? Wires. Those are those trees that attract rodents. I call those rat catchers. The cypress, you'll find 8 zillion rats in them, mice, all sorts of rodents live in those. Those can reach 40 feet, 60 feet, 80 feet. And the higher they go, the more cost it is to bring them down. And the more rodents you have, obviously. It just becomes like a apartment high rise. The guy on top, he pays a premium. So the rodent up here, he's got the penthouse. Southern Cal Edison, which is in charge of a lot of electricity. I know in Anaheim they have their own electric. They can say what about getting your bushes away from the wires? You have to. They do it and they'll bill you. Why are they doing that? They have an easement. It can damage the wires. It can start fires. The old bushes being against the lines. And next thing you know, you got neighborhood going on fire. It's a real hazard. Have you noticed insurance companies now are requiring bushes to be a certain feet away from lines, homes, everything? My client had to remove 2 trees and spend hundreds getting rid of landscaping to keep his insurance. Or they'll just cancel you. You got 30 days to do it, or just cancel you, that's it. No discussion, no debate, because they're trying to minimize risk. I want you to think about this. Look at the weight of this tree against this house. Do trees weigh a lot, yes or no? Can you imagine the hundreds of pounds of weight that is just leaning on that house? When all that material falls where it's falling, on a bad roof. The reason I'm pointing this out, sometimes it's not about just making a check or getting a sale. It's about, can we help this person do the right thing, and then they remember you, then what happens down the road? What does the universe do a lot of times when you do good things? It comes back. So we wrote them a letter. Forget about if you don't want to sell it. Let us help you fix all this. I guarantee he has no homeowner's insurance on this house. So if it burns down, guess what he loses? He doesn't realize in this condition, how much do you think that would sell? Take a guess. Anaheim.
5.
I'll stick with 3.
It's over 6. And it would sell like that.
600?
Over 600.
How big is the lot?
It's a big lot. That would sell over 600. Remember what we talked about? Just because homes are neglected and abused, what has happened over time? How many people have family members that paid under $200,000 for a house years ago? Are they $200,000 now?
No.
Have they gone up a lot?
Yeah.
There's people in my neighborhood that paid $46,000 and they're telling me they're mad their house is only worth $1.4 million. What's that look, Mike? You want me to do the payment for the new buyer? And show you how much? Ron will do the payment and shock you. You're complaining about a $600 total payment. They'd buy 100 homes at $600 a month. That tree is so dangerous. If I was the neighbor, just so you know, I have a client, not gonna name names. The tree in their yard is so massive, the neighbors have filed a legal letter against them. If you don't bring it down, we're gonna sue you. Why are they saying that? The tree now is over 100 feet tall. The guy said the roots go past 2 homes in length because for that tree, the roots are, they're all under all the neighborhood homes, the roots. Some of the roots, they said, are like that big. Because that big a tree, if it didn't, the tree would just fall over. The fear is that tree will fall one day in a storm. What will happen? People will get hurt or killed because it weighs so many tons. If it hits a house, it'll just crush the home. What I'm trying to explain to my client, you have made insane money on that house over the last 50 years. Just spend the 15, 20 grand. And you say, Mike, it's 15, 20 grand bringing a tree down? Do you think that's going to be 2,000 bucks? No. Just the weight of moving that material, the labor, the danger of bringing that tree down slowly from that height. That is not 2 or 3 grand. The other thing I want to mention here, how much do you think a garage door is now?
$599.
$1,500.
$1,000.
15 to 2,000.
That's the lie. Remember how you know, Home Depot, we got the new jigsaw, it's only $100, you run in there. Oh, we're out of that one, but we got the Excalibur at $1,200. And you're like, wait a minute, because that's just a tease to get you to do what? Some of the openings are what's called custom cut. My house, most width is 15.7, mine is 17 feet. Most is about 6.5 feet, mine's 7 feet high. No one makes that. Midwest, they had to custom make my garage door. Was it cheap? No. And they had to ship it by truck and this stuff. So if anyone hits my garage door, they're gonna be like, how much is your garage door? It's more than your house. How much is a driveway? Depending on the material you use, the depth you're gonna do, the proper way to do it, you're looking somewhere in the mid-8s to just over 12 grand, depending on the width, the length. We used to do driveways for $4 grand. What's happened to the cost of material? What's happened to the cost of labor? Yesterday, me and Gene called our contractor just to make sure we were telling you the truth. The workers used to work for $150 a day. Then it went to 180, then 200, then 225, then 250, and some of them want 300 to 350. So when you say, do you have a rehab, I can do 8 to 10 grand, why do I laugh? Just the labor alone, the parts alone. Has anyone priced a furnace lately? Furnaces almost doubled in cost. So a lot of these guys run around with cheap furnaces, you know what they are? They're refurbished or broken, which is completely immoral to be putting in somebody's home. Okay, so you gotta be careful. Cheap does not mean you're getting away with anything. It could be you're hurting yourself. How much is a roof? That roof will not be 15. Why? The underlayment on this house, all the plywood will be completely destroyed. Is wood gone up or down? Way up, correct? It's come down some. Remember, it went super, super high? You go to the local lumber yards like Ganal and stuff, they'll say, yeah, we have it. You go there and you go, okay, I'll buy it. No, we have it for you to order. And you're like, well, you just told me on the phone, and I gotta wait 6 weeks now? That's the situation we're in, because they don't want a whole lot of inventory. Why? Costs money. That trim around the property as well. Do you notice right here, it looks more like a lid than a normal lift of a roof? So you have to do two things here. You have to adjust the rafters and the trestles to have elevation and more of a pitch, because this area, I can tell you, if you do it the way it is, you're always gonna have leaks right in here. You can see right here the damage from all the leaking over the years. Isn't that amazing when you start looking at a home critically and the owner says, I fixed the bathroom, that's great, but you still have tens of thousands of dollars to go for the buyer. And during home inspections when they're mad, why'd they find all that? Well, now your trained eye is looking at stuff. Okay, this needs, this needs, this needs, this needs. And what happens in their mind, how much the cost is? Is the cost going down or up to a buyer the more you look? Up. You walk across the floor, you go like this. Standing here, I could be in the NBA, I'm almost 7 feet. Right here, what happened? I'm 5'10". What happened? It's part of life, right? That we have to deal with it. That's part of what we do. We don't always sell perfect. Windows gone up or down? Up. Now, has anybody noticed what this is? Okay, is a bay window that has been sitting there for 60 years, is that reusable? That whole thing has to be pulled out. When you pull it out, you have to pull the stucco out all the way around it. And so when you do the roof, completely above it will be completely rotted. You'll see like a waterfall effect where water's been going down through the bay window. You're better off not putting a bay window back in, because when you pull that out, all the paper behind the stucco is rotted, the wood is rotted, the window is rotted. This little shingle thingy, trust me, you could probably just grab it and just fall apart in your hand. That in itself, we did one in orange. It was shocking the cost of it, because it's not just the window. See, people think, oh, the window's only $500. It's $1,000. That's not, no, it's not $1,000. So when you get skilled at what you're looking at, it's not you're trying to be negative. You're bringing professional guidance. So when the shock hits, you say the whole roof is shot. Yeah, it's been there 65 years. Is a roof designed to last 65 years? We just took over a house. The comp roof's been there over 50 years. Single layer comp roof. Is a single layer comp roof supposed to last over 50 years? No way. That thing's so rotted, you could just go like this with the material. It was just crumbling. But Henry's probably made $10,000 and pouring it all over. What does somebody else see on this house that you're gonna have to fix just on the outside? Stucco. Stucco is actually an absorbent material. That's why there's paper behind it. Over time, water will get through stucco. The paper's designed to have the water go down, then it comes out what's called the weep screen down below. Does anybody know what a weep screen is? The weep screen allows the water to come out. Yeah. Now here's what happens. The weep screens are clogged, or earth or landscaping has clogged them. So what happens to all that water that's coming down? It's not coming down. It sits in the home. So when you pull the kitchen cabinets out, what's between the cabinets and the back and the wall? Mold, water damage like you wouldn't believe. We pulled cabinets off. The stench hit us so hard, I told everyone to get out of the house. It was black mold. Don't be standing there. You're not supposed to be breathing that, right? It's bad. We had to bring in a crew, especially trained, to break out that whole wall. Now the seller's telling me, I don't want a discount for that. It's only a couple grand. No, that was over 25 grand. Fix the wall, the window, the wood, all the damage, the mold treatment, put it in a whole new kitchen. Can you reuse those cabinets? The cabinets were so bad, you literally could just take them and go like this and break them. They were so rotted. All the cabinets, you know, we had dishes on and stuff, were like this. Why is that? Just rotted. Can we paint it? No. We haven't even entered the home. You're a professional, Audrey. You've just been walking the neighborhood. This guy wants you to come talk to him about this house. You've already analyzed this as a pro, some items. You're not trying to be negative. What are you trying to point out? The reality of the moment. Here's why we have to price the home, or you got to move out, which we've told people. Give me 2 to 2.5 months. I'm going to completely gut your home out. It's going to spend about 160 to 200 grand and rehab it with permits and then sell it. Is this one worth rehabbing and flipping? I'll be honest with you, this one's better for an owner keeper. Because see, when a house has been neglected this long, you always have to account for the blank moment. Does everybody understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
That's the, I didn't know it was there. Every time we go to flip a property, we account 10 to 20 grand for the what moment. Because when you start opening walls, what do you find? You know what you're not accounting for in the front of that house? What sits between the wall other than wood? Plumbing, electrical. Is the electrical in this house good or bad? It's been impacted by water, neglect, age. All that electrical has to be redone. How much is an electrical panel with rewiring the house? The panel, depending on what type of panel, is 8 to 13 now with a permit. It used to be 4 to 5. Why'd the costs go up? Everything's gone up. So everybody's trying to base their numbers on 15, 20 years ago. The new reality is we're not going back to those numbers. There's never going to be a time where you go to the Home Depot and everything goes down 50%. Cost of labor, cost of insurance, cost of everything, delivery, everything. The minute you enter this house, if you can get through there to the door, how do you think they get in and out of this house? Garage door. They can't get out of their own house. By the way, there was a house in Placentia years ago and one in Yorba Linda where the overgrown was so bad, they used to go through their side gate and go through their patio slider in the back. On the one in Placentia, out of my pocket, just to help the people out, my gardening crew spent a day and a half just cleaning so they could access their own front door. Of course, city sent letters, neighbors sent letters, please, just do something. And you say, Mike, you didn't make money on it. I was just trying to do good because I had 2 clients right near that house. Just clean it up a little bit. The minute you enter that house, doesn't matter if you come through the garage door, side gate, front door, what are you gonna find, Kurt? You can think it's going to be remodeled? It's not going to be remodeled. We can safely bet. How much are bathrooms now? Depends.
What material?
If you have mold. Here's what's interesting. An agent we know was they flipping a house in South County. The cleaning crew is wiping down the tile shower wall in the shower. Their hand went right through the wall. Her hand literally went through the wall. It was so rotted. She's just cleaning it, and her hand went through the wall. They had to strip all the wall, all the wood, all the shower, that whole thing completely out. Rip out the stucco, everything. Mold, rot. That's what I'm talking about. You're going to have the moments when you do a house like this. What's the kitchen going to look like? Guarantee it has mold. Guarantee tremendous water damage. All the cabinets, obviously, you just got to strip the whole thing out. How about the foundation? Have we even talked about that yet? What do you think the foundation is going to look like? That tree's roots could be 2 houses over. 2 houses over. His main line to the street is probably just collapsed and rotted. How much is that? 5 to 8. Minimum. Has damaged the plumbing, most likely in the home, as well as the foundation. An agent we used to work with years ago went to a house that had been neglected, been a rental for decades on end. There was a tree growing through the garage. The guy wouldn't even remove a tree growing through his own garage. The people rented a home where they could not use the garage. There's literally a tree growing right through the garage. Busted right through the roof. True story. And the guy didn't want to spend a penny on it. That's fine. We can we price it to sell it with a tree in the garage? Is Ron going to get financing for that? No. The appraiser, Ron, no, it's not outside the garage, dude. It's in the garage, and it's going through the. Yeah, yeah. Call it an atrium. If they have gutters, it's actually worse on this home than if they don't. They're so clogged, though it kicks the water back into the roof line and trim, which goes into the wall, and it actually rots the walls out of the house more. If they don't have gutters, and all the water's pooling next to the foundation, what happens when a foundation sits on wet soil over decades? Starts to move. Take a tennis ball, drop it on one side of a living room and see if it rolls. A marble on tile floor, see if it moves. Anaheim Hills, I dropped a tennis ball. It literally went like 10 miles an hour all the way across. The guy tells me he fixed the foundation. I'm like, No. Now you're inside. What else do you got to look at?
Flooring.
Can you just put flooring in, or do you got to check the foundation? Fix the plumbing first before you do the flooring. Because with the flooring in, now you got to do plumbing work, and the plumbing's underneath. Now you have to break it back out. How about the drywall? Is the drywall going to look good? A lot of the drywall is going to be completely rotted down. The reason we're going over this today, a lot of you've asked, how do I flip property? How do I get into properties? These people need professional guidance. They don't need the guy that just wants to do one photo and throw it in the MLS. They need more professional guidance to get out of this situation as cleanly and maximizing their equity. I would prefer you don't try to rehab a home like this your first time out. This is for advanced people. This isn't for beginners. The house 5 houses away, even though we offered on it, we were actually doing this that night. Please don't take offer, please don't take offer, please don't take offer. Why is that? It was so bad. There was so much mold. The guy told us, when my girlfriend comes over, she always gets sick. Yeah, black mold, dude. You shouldn't even be in this home. You shouldn't even be here for like 30 seconds. You're living with black mold in your house all over. The people who bought it took it all the way down to the studs. They'll never get their money back at this time. So they have to have the mindset, we're gonna hold it 15, 20, 30 years to get our money back. But you gotta remember, the parents bought it for the kid. The kid didn't know what to do with his life. So he's gonna become an investor. They bought him a brand new Tesla. He pulls up in his brand new Tesla, and he just overpaid. And I'm sure the parents are just like rolling their eyes going, we just got $1 million in a property. We'll never get our money back anytime soon, which they're right. Somewhere to live or turn it into a rental for decades, next 15, 20, 25 years. If you come across a property like this and the people say, I want to hire you, have us come out and look at it before you do it. Because you may end up doing what on the price? Too high. And then the seller will say, why aren't you selling the home? Because now you understand the cost associated with this. Because too many people are coming to us, why can't you fix this house for 20 grand? The material alone is 30 grand. We're dealing with 2 different cities, and it's just been a nightmare to get them to do their thing. We want 2 weeks to come out. You have to sit there for 8 hours. We're not coming. And they're not even busy. But when you deal with monopolies, people who can't get fired, can we get fired? Are we a monopoly? Plenty of people competing against us. So we have to work differently than that. Our mindset has to be different than that. On this, no, this would not be worth tearing down. The return on investment, the end price for this property would not be worth doing that in this location. You're better to fix it. Is there opportunity there for you, yes or no? Because there will come a moment where there's a need for them to sell it. Move into a retirement home, move out of state. Do not even spend 90 days doing because the buyer's gonna walk. They don't have the resources, the time, or the ability to do an FHA 203 on that. No way. You know how many times I've done those, and a week or 2 before close, guess what happens? Deal gets canceled because they try to renegotiate what? Way down. Price, way down. Not like 5, 10 grand, like 100, 200, 300 grand. Everybody wants to be an investor until you hand them the bill. You have to put your own effort into it. They're hearing these things on radio shows. You know, I just pulled up, my crew came in, they spent 2 days, I made $12 billion, and you know, now I'm off to the next one. That's not the reality. That's not real life. Most of the people we're meeting right now are actually losing money flipping property. True story. They're actually losing. Because part of it is they're basing the market to be doing what? And the market's not jumping like it was. Because somebody eventually has to make the payment, right, Ron? And in the modern world, they have to qualify for it, correct? Private money, regular money, they have to qualify it some way. We know a crew that did a house. They were telling us they're gonna make 120 grand. Great, nothing wrong with that. Then it was, we're gonna make 80 grand. Nothing wrong with that. Then we're gonna make 60 grand. Still nothing wrong with that. They basically walked away broken even. What happened? Cost went up or down? Holding time went longer or shorter? They didn't account for the moment and agent costs and closing costs. Because see, when you watch a radio show or listen to a radio show, watch the TVs, they don't tell you all that stuff. They just say, oh, Diana walked into a house, she took some photos, this crew came in a day and a half later, she's standing there for the open house and she sold it for $1.5 million and she bought it for $12 and she's a millionaire now. That's the lie of the business. Diana's all, sign me up for that one. Yeah. Anytime you're working with somebody where they have to sell below market condition of the property, I need for you to document, and they have acknowledged receipt of what? Comps. Because in the modern world, somebody will think you did what to that client? Screwed them. No. Document it through photos, videos, everything about the condition of the property before you touch it for work, and have them acknowledge the comps. So when they sell it, if you get a call from somebody, no, sorry, here's the videos, here's the photos, show them the comps, this is what they want to do. They're educated people, they made that decision.